Earlier this year, OPPO confirmed that their flagship X series model will be arriving in the Philippines later this year. In fact, we got a taste of that with the Find X7 Ultra, which you can check out our review here on YouTube or on the Yucatec website. Now, the time has finally come. Meet the newest OPPO flagship, the Find X8. Specifically in this video, we're looking at the base version of the Find X8 series, as there is also the Find X8 Pro. Of course, this being the first time the Find X series was officially launched in the country, we were very excited to try it out. And to give you a quick teaser of things to come out in this review, we were not disappointed at all. So enough of me yapping, I'm Earl from Yucatec, and let's get on with this review of the OPPO Find X8. Let's start with the design of the phone. Thankfully, it's not as huge as the Find X7 Ultra we got to try out earlier this year. Instead, its size is similar to the flagship models from other brands. It only measures 7.85mm thick and weighs 193 grams, which is slim and light considering everything it's packing. With that, it's a lot easier to hold and it's not bulky in my pocket. In terms of styling, it adopts the same design cue as its predecessor with a large circular camera island at the top center of the back panel with a blacked out housing. It's here where you'll find the triple camera system and of course the Hazelblad branding, which we'll talk more about later on in this video. The LED flash is located in the upper left corner, and there's also a small ring around the camera island to add some style to the phone. But aside from that, the rest of the back panel is kept clean. The only other detail worth mentioning is the OPPO logo here at the bottom center of the phone. In terms of the buttons and ports, the volume rocker is located on the right side of the phone together with the power button. At the bottom, you'll find the USB-C port, the dual SIM card slot, and one of two loudspeakers. At the top, there's an IR blaster, a secondary microphone, and the other loudspeaker. What we want to point about the Find X8 is the alert slider on the right side. It allows you to immediately switch between ringing mode, silent, vibrate, and of course loud. There's no doubt it's similar to what you'd find on the iPhone, and there's no doubt that the phone feels very premium too. The back panel is made of glass while the frame is made of aluminum. It's well protected too with an IP68 rating for dust and water resistance, meaning you can really tough it out with this phone. You can even go swimming with it if you're inclined to do so. Flip the phone over and you're greeted by a 6.59-inch display that uses AMOLED panel with very thin borders all around. Unfortunately, it's not an LTPO panel that's reserved for the Find X8 Pro, but it's still a great screen nonetheless. You have great viewing angles from all around and the colors are very rich. When you're watching a dark movie, the blacks are quite deep too since the phone supports HDR10+ and even Dolby Vision. Binge watching all kinds of movies, series, and videos was definitely enjoyable. That's because the animation is smooth all around no matter whether you're watching videos or playing games, thanks to the phone's 120Hz refresh rate. You can easily see everything on the screen too with up to 4500 nits of peak brightness available at your disposal. This is important especially since you'll be taking a lot of photos and videos on this phone. When you're watching videos, you have a dual stereo speakers at your disposal. Now, we usually complain about the speakers of smartphones giving their lack of clarity, bass, and separation, but I have none with the sound quality of the Find X8. They're great even when you max out the volume, there's no distortion in sound quality. Mind you, this phone doesn't even come with Dolby Atmos support. Our only complaint is that the loudspeakers aren't that loud. Even the volume maxed out, some of the other more affordable phones we've tried are a lot louder. But hey, we don't mind sacrificing loudness for higher quality audio. As with most smartphones, the Find X8 comes with an under-screen fingerprint scanner and facial recognition. The fingerprint scanner works fast too, and we ended up using it more than the facial recognition to unlock the phone. Moving on, we have one of the most impressive aspects of the OPPO Find X8, the cameras. This being the base Find X8, it only comes with a triple rear camera system, whereas the Find X8 Pro comes with Pro. Still, that doesn't mean it's down in terms of image and video quality. The Find X8's rear cameras are highlighted by 50-megapixel main shooter paired with a 50-megapixel periscope telephoto, both of which come with PDAF and optical image stabilization or OIS. Lastly, there's a 50-megapixel ultra-wide with a 120-degree field of view and also comes with PDAF. Of course, there's also a Hazelblad tuning in the mix, giving you a very capable set of cameras. For selfies, there's a 32-megapixel front shooter. Given how capable the cameras are, we had no doubts that the images would come out amazing. And after using the phone for a while, they definitely did not disappoint. The colors are very accurate and they give off a natural look similar to what your eyes would see. The automatic processing of the image does a good job of balancing the highlights and shadows too. Even in low light situations, the camera does a great job of reducing the grain and optimizing the lighting between the subject and the background. You can set the mood to your liking by tweaking them in the settings. There are even various scene modes, whether you're capturing a concert or fireworks, to help the camera automatically adjust. Interestingly, the camera also comes with a macro mode which appears to use the telephoto lens. Because of this, we were able to get some macro photos of ants and even the budding of a flower. Unfortunately, they're not the sharpest images since you will need a steady pair of hands. Not to mention, it has a hard time focusing properly with macro mode. The ultra-wide was great too, but if you pixel peep, you will notice that it still isn't as sharp as when using the main or telephoto camera. But for those who aren't OC with the photos, you might not be able to tell. In terms of video, the Find X8 can record up to 4K at 60 frames per second. Best of all, stabilization still works even at the highest setting. Compared to other phones in the segment, when you're using ultra steady, you're usually limited to just 2K max. However, that's not the case with the Find X8. And just like the images, you get to capture great photos. If you're a content creator who wants to pack light, you will definitely enjoy using the cameras on the Find X8 to record vlogs or even do cinematic shots for your B-rolls. However, we did notice that the video quality isn't as great when it comes to low light. There's some noticeable grain, especially when you're shooting at 4K at 60 frames per second and stabilization turned on. Still, it's quite decent all things considered. The autofocus is also really fast and can easily track the subject. Now, we move on to the software side of things. We expected the OPPO Find X8 to run on Android 14 as with most smartphones today, but that isn't the case. Instead, it runs on the new Android 15 skin with ColorOS 15. Thankfully, there's not a lot of bloatware on ColorOS 15, at least for the Find X8, save for a few of OPPO's apps. However, we were disappointed to see that there are not a lot of AI functions available. The main AI feature we enjoyed using was the AI eraser for photos. It helped a lot given how many photos we took using the phone. Of course, we can't always take the perfect photo, and it's perfect for removing pesky items in the background. It's not perfect since sometimes there are remnants, but you can keep trying until you get the desired result. Other than the AI eraser for photos, you get the usual suite of Android functions like split screen and the like. One thing that we did notice about the Find X8 is how sensitive it is to NFC. We brought the phone to Clark over the weekend and we noticed that it quickly detected my colleague's hotel room card. He accidentally placed the phone over the card and it automatically asked him if he wanted to scan the card. Adding the card to the phone was super simple too. We just placed it near the phone and that was it. We could easily use the card too through Find Easy app. We did have our doubts about whether it would work at first, but after testing it multiple times, we're glad to say it works fine. I mean, we were able to enter the room without needing to use the physical hotel card. Although for us, it's scary to see how sensitive it is to detecting cards with NFC functionality. You could theoretically copy someone's card via the NFC function easily with this phone. Under the hood, the OPPO Find X8 is powered by MediaTek Dimensity 9400, which is one of the most capable chipsets on the market today. Depending on the unit, it can be had with up to 16GB of RAM and even up to 1TB of storage. It's very fast storage too, making it great for loading heavy apps or even games. As you would expect, this phone has no issues running multiple apps in your day-to-day tasks. Even when using split screen with YouTube and another app, the phone still runs really well without any lag. It's the same case when playing games. Genshin Impact ran on this phone at max graphic at 60 frames per second without any issues. Even when a lot was going on in the game, we did not experience any frame rate drops or lag. But what really surprised us was the load time when teleporting to different places around the game. It was similar to the loading times on our gaming PC here. And as we expected, this phone scored really well in the benchmarks. In Antutu, it scored over 2 million, and as for the rest of the benchmarks, you can check them out here. However, this phone isn't perfect though. We noticed that it tends to heat up really fast. Even when we were just shooting photos and videos for this review, the phone already heated up. It was the same case when we were playing Genshin Impact after just 30 minutes. Thankfully, the heat did not affect the performance of the phone since everything was still running smoothly. Powering this guy over here is a larger than usual 5630 mAh battery pack. If you're wondering how they managed to squeeze that big of a battery into the slim phone, the OPPO used the newer Sika or silicon carbon battery instead of a traditional lithium-ion pack. Thanks to this new battery and larger size, the Find X8 managed to last quite a long time. Using PC Mark's Work 3.0 battery test, it lasted 14 hours and 48 minutes. Mind you, this test was done with a volume at 0, 50% brightness, and in airplane mode. Honestly, we expected it to last longer given the larger battery size, but it's still a decent score nonetheless. And when you do need to recharge the phone, you don't have to worry about downtime. The Find X8 comes with an 80-watt SuperVOOC fast charging. If you have a fast wireless charger, it even has 50 watts wireless charging. In terms of connectivity, you have the full suite at your fingertips. This includes 5G, Wi-Fi 7, Bluetooth 5.4, GPS, NFC, and infrared. We've talked about NFC earlier, but the IR remote is helpful when you can't find the remote and just want to turn on the TV. Overall, the Find X8 is the amazing flagship we expected from OPPO. It's not perfect with the heating issues and the battery life being average, but everything else worked great. You already have a very powerful chipset, a beautiful display, and even a great set of cameras tuned by Hasselblad at your disposal with the Find X8. Not to mention, it has its signature design that helps it stand out from the rest. Still, the OPPO Find X8 faces a lot of competition from flagship phones of other brands, but the more important question is this: Can it sway people from the big name brands like Apple and Samsung? So, what do you think about the OPPO Find X8? Is it a phone you'd consider buying this upcoming holiday season? Share your thoughts in the comments below. If you find this video helpful or informative, be sure to hit that like button, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and hit that bell icon so you'll get notified of our future uploads. Don't forget to follow us on our socials, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and X, and visit yogatech.com for the latest tech news and reviews. Again, this has been Earl, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!